The secret nobody mentions when they talk about Chick-fil-A. I'm opening a Chick-fil-A franchise. Ooh, share the deets. It only costs $10,000 to open one. And that covers all the equipment, the supplies, the rent, and the food to get started. How much will you make? Owners average $200,000 a year per franchise. Sounds amazing, but you're missing a key element to this. What? Chick-fil-A's acceptance rate rivals Harvard and Stanford. Less than 1% of franchisee applicants are accepted. Nobody mentioned that in all those TikToks I watched. Dude, follow Addison. She shares all the nuances and is actually making me rich.
So I can't tell you how many calls I get on with people to talk about franchise ownership, and they bring up Chick-fil-A. Understandably so, blows the competition out of the water in the fast food space in terms of unit economics, how much a single location can make and all of that. But, when it comes down to it, number one, the first point she makes is very accurate, right? That it's very, very, very difficult to get awarded the opportunity to run a Chick-fil-A location. I'm also very hesitant to actually call Chick-fil-A a franchise because there are some very distinct differences between their model and the model that you see in the vast majority of other franchise businesses. So it is also true that it only requires about $10,000 in capital for the franchisee operator. And that's an important point, right? Number one, look at a Chick-fil-A, right? It's a big location, all the equipment. It's if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Like, how could you own all of that for $10,000? But also just listen to the way that they refer to their quote unquote franchisees. They refer to them as operators because at the end of the day, that's what you really are. If you're operating a Chick-fil-A, you're an operator. You do not own that business. You don't own the real estate. You don't own any of the equipment. You don't own any of the assets. Chick-fil-A owns all of that.
I don't own anything.
So, the average of $200,000 that she mentions in this video that an operator can make, and I'm not sure if that average is accurate or not. I'm going to assume that it is, but that is essentially a profit share. Okay. So as a Chick-fil-A owner or operator, you are entitled to a percentage of the profits that your location generates. So some operators within Chick-fil-A make considerably more than others simply based on how well your location performs. So unlike most other franchise businesses, you do not have the option to sell your business at some point down the road. And that is one of the biggest benefits of owning any sort of business, franchise or not, is yes, if you build your business the right way, you're going to be able to generate good income, but also you're building an asset that you would have the potential to sell one day. And that's where many business owners have really built wealth for themselves, is in the asset and an exit at some point. You're also not able to reap the tax benefits that most business owners can when you, as the operator of a Chick-fil-A location, do not really own any of the assets. A couple other points I'll just mention from what I know about Chick-fil-A is that, again, very, very selective, but also you have to be pretty flexible in terms of where you're willing to go to operate a Chick-fil-A location, right? I've heard examples of someone having to move multiple states away because that was the next available location that they qualified for. So you've got to have some flexibility in terms of where you're willing to go to operate a Chick-fil-A location. And the final thing is, from what I understand, Chick-fil-A is also very strict about how many locations they will let their operators run. If I've understood this correctly, the maximum, the absolute max is 2 locations per operator, and it's very, very rare that they give someone the opportunity to take on a second location. So you run into a ceiling as a Chick-fil-A operator as well, where you're going to be limited in terms of how much income you can make. Sure, you can keep growing your store's revenue and profitability, but at some point you probably cap out on that. You don't have the option to scale through opening additional locations. And then again, on top of that, the big thing for me is you don't have this opportunity to build an asset that you own and eventually sell it. And you're missing out on all the tax benefits. So Chick-fil-A, love the food. It's a great business. They crush it. But if business ownership is really your goal, probably better options that you could look at than a Chick-fil-A franchise.